Hi there, Simon from simonwoods.com. Now, in many years of tasting, drinking, spitting out, teaching people about wine, there's three things I've worked out. Probably a few more than three things, but three things at heart. First one is White Zinfandel. Is it a wine or is it something created in a laboratory? I mean, I don't mind White Zinfandel on a nice hot summer's day, but seeing as it's the first week in August and it's a bit grey outside, then I don't have to drink any White Zinfandel. Yee-hee! Secondly, anything from a joint venture will cost 50% more than it should do. And the third thing is that about every 3 or 4 years, someone will use the term Riesling revival. There will be a Riesling revival, and the Riesling revival is always just around the corner. Oh, it's coming. Oh, we know it. Australia's going to lead it. New Zealand's going to lead it. Germany's fighting back. Well, I'd love there to be a Riesling revival because I think it's a terrific grape. But what I've found out is when you present Riesling to groups of people, there'll be about a third of them who sort of go, oh, this is delicious, and quite a lot of them who go, oh, it's a bit sharp, and it's one of the reasons that Riesling has this reputation as being a sweet wine. It's not, it's a grape, so you can make it in dry, you can make it in sweet, you can make it sparkling. There's sparkling wine in Germany called Sekt, made from Riesling, but it's a grape, and it's a grape that's got quite a lot of acidity in there. And so if you make a wine and you make it quite dry, sometimes that acidity will poke out. So a lot of people make it off dry to have something to counterbalance that slight sharpness. I personally like it, but I'm one of those people who doesn't mind sucking a lemon every now and then. A lot of other people would say, ooh, no, put some sugar on it. So I don't think there's going to be a Riesling revival this year. I don't think there's going to be another one in 3 or 4 years, and so on and so on. But that doesn't get away from the fact that hopefully I've got 5 rather nice wines in front of me. 3 from Australia, 1 from New Zealand, and I'm starting off in France, Alsace. Kunstbas, 2008, Riesling Tradition. Only one of them with a cork. Stick my nose in there and it smells like it's going to be clean and fresh and zippy and tangy. Don't get too much of the Alsace spice there, but smells like it's going to be a refreshing wine, maybe not something that I want to have by itself, maybe it's just going to be a bit too lime zesty for that, but think about it, or ceviche, think about having something like that with some ceviche. Perfect. Anyway, let's have a slurp. And that spice does come through when you taste it. There's this spice, there's this undercurrent of mineral, rich soil, but then on top of it, you've got this quite bouncy, vibrant citrus fruit, a bit of green apple in there. Tasty, tangy, dry, long, quite full-bodied, but because of that dryness and because of the length, it doesn't sort of overwhelm your mouth. Your mouth's left feeling entertained rather than overwhelmed. I do like that. Wow. It's first wine of the day, so yeah, sometimes sometimes if I'm doing tastings, it's first wine of the day. I come back and retry it because it depends on what mood you're in. I'm in quite a good mood today, so maybe that's why the wine tastes good. No, I reckon the wine tastes good because it is good. Let's see if this one's good. Crossroads Winery. We're in New Zealand now. Marlborough, 2009 Medway Vineyard from Crossroads. Now, New Zealand has struggled for me with Riesling. There were a few really tasty ones. There was a company called Corbin's, which got subsumed into other things and then eventually it disappeared. But there was it's ever so slightly off-dry, quite full-bodied with a touch of botrytis in there, but made as essentially dry wines. Haven't seen that style for a long time. What there is now is they're a bit fey. They're a bit like just off-dry, but not really enough body behind them. They're almost a bit too clean, and I find that with quite a lot of New Zealand wines. Sometimes you wish there was a bit more dirt and grunt in there. That's a cue for all the grunty New Zealand winemakers to say, look, try my wine. No, that's an Australian accent. No, I won't do a New Zealand accent. Anyway, I'll taste this wine. Yeah, this smells like lime and lemon jelly. It hasn't got that pristine purity of the first one. Feels like it's just going to be a bit more rounded and yeah, fleshier, but a bit too nice. A bit of dolly mixture, that sort of candied sugar, icing sugar that you get on some sweets. I don't really get enough of the zip and zest and tang of Riesling. Very user-friendly, almost as if they've tried to make it too friendly and lost a bit of the personality in the process. So, sorry, that doesn't do it for me. Actually, some of the best New Zealand Riesling I've come across is from further south in central Otago. I think Felton Road makes some terrific stuff. Next one, we are on Asda. We're on 3 Aussies now, 3 different regions. Clare Valley is the first one, and it's Asda's own label, Clare Valley Riesling. So there's 2, I've got, this is the Clare Valley, and then the next one's an Eden Valley. And those are the 2 regions in South Australia which stake the claim to being the prime Riesling territory. There's a few competitors, and we'll get on to Western Australia with the final one of these Rieslings, but Yeah, these two battle it out, and both make terrific, long, age-worthy Rieslings of supreme class. And I stick my nose in here, and it's got some of that rich, slightly petrol-y aroma, which some people love, and I think in small amounts here, they've got it absolutely beautifully. There's a bit of honey, there's a bit of toast, and there's this lovely lime juice zestiness. I mean, just far more life to it than the slightly, I'm so nice edge of the Crossroads. Yeah, that's really tasty, long, pure. It's got some of this toasty character, and that's only going to get stronger and stronger with further time in the bottle. When Australia switched en masse, well, not quite en masse, but to using screw caps, one of the problems was they'd been used to adding a certain amount of sulphur dioxide prior to bottling in order to keep the wine inside in good condition. When they switched over to the Stelvin screw caps, they carried on using the same level, and what happened is the wine sort of just thought, well, we're not breathing as much as we used to do when we had the corks in, and they went into this really, what I call tight, anal retentive stage. They were just so tight and clenched, and if you had them when they were less than a year old, it was a buttock clenching experience. But they seem to have backed off on the use of that much sulphur dioxide now. So a wine like this, yeah, okay, 2 years old, but it's not tasting like it's got anything that needs to be resolved. Still feels like it's got this lovely zesty mineral and fresh acidity, which is going to keep it in good condition for quite a few years yet. And I think it's an £8 wine. I mean, if you want to buy 5 bottles of that, 6 bottles of that, stick it away, drink one every year over the next 6 years, and you'll really enjoy it. Bully to Asda for getting a nice wine like that under their own label. And another own label one here. This is Averys Pioneer range. Averys is now owned by the people who own the Sunday Times Wine Club, Leeuwin, and they also own Virgin Wines. But Averys is run pretty much as a separate concern, and the guy in charge there, John Avery, he was a pioneer for New World wines, not just Australia. So they've got this Pioneer range that I think I've done the Shiraz before from the Barossa, and I think I've done a couple of others. I think there's a Yarra Pinot, and I think there's a Yarra Shiraz as well. And they've all been pretty good. This one's from Yalumba, who makes some excellent Riesling, and under the Heggies and Pewsey Vale labels, as well as under the Yalumba label. Now this doesn't quite have the that tension of the Clare Valley one, but it's got a really rounded, juicier, much friendlier. It is a bit of a more user-friendly wine. This is the one I'd be wanting to drink now. The Clare Valley one feels like it's still got loads of time still to go, whereas this one, I love its gentle. Yeah, it's confident juiciness, and it's got this ever so slight edge of something tropical, maybe a bit of mango in there on top of this citrus fruit, but. Yeah, I favour the Asda one over the Averys on this occasion, but not a shabby wine, as the Aussies say. Let's see if the last one is a shabby wine. We are over in Western Australia now, back to, I think that was 2009, yeah, back to 2008 vintage with Leeuwin Art Series Shiraz, Art Series Riesling from Margaret River. This feels far more delicate. It feels like it's not going to be quite as in your face as the in your face ripe and fruity but zesty as the previous two. It feels like it's one of those wines that's going to crawl up on you and creep up. At the moment it's got this slightly floral edge, like a dusting of icing sugar as well, some of that citrus fruit. It smells good, but it smells backward, and there's this minerally tension again, which for me is the key to Riesling. It was in the Kunstpass, didn't find it in the Crossroads, found it in the Clare Valley one, maybe not so much in the Eden Valley one, but we're back on it here. What I call life beyond fruit. Yes, there's a fruit, but there's also like a stony quality, like if you've licked a river pebble. Yes, it's got this sharpness, which I know that there'll be some people who will have that and they go, that's too sharp for me. Solution is have it with some shellfish. Perfect. Yeah, that's got a really lovely stony minerality, and that's for me is the pick of the bunch. That then the Kunstpass and the Asda one, they really stand out for me. But I think all of them, maybe not the Crossroads, but the other four, certainly. I mean, Riesling is you can get really good Riesling at a price that similar price Chardonnays are just a bit too boring and heavy and lumpen. But all of these wines, I think the Leeuwin knocks in maybe 15 quid at the max. Maybe I think 13 quid in some shops. But to get Chardonnay of that quality, it's a bit of a struggle at that price. So, hey, Riesling. Will the revival come? I'm not sure. But in the meantime, I'm going to enjoy tasting and drinking some of these. See you soon.